Caroline, all the conjecture on the big names this year has been around Buddy Franklin and Dustin Martin. Buddy took this to a whole new level on Saturday morning. We'll take a look at his statement. He said, "This stage conversations have been paused around my contract so I can put all my focus on footy. No further comment. I'm still undecided and need time after the season to make a family decision about whether I continue to play next year," in what many people, myself included, interpreted as an open invitation to the Brisbanes and the Gold Coast and others of the world.
Channel 9 in Queensland broke the story saying that Brisbane was the team that he could be headed, and then we heard from John Longmire shortly afterwards, after the Swans win.
Would it be disappointing to see him at another club next year, or?
I'm not going down that path. I think we can get caught up in all of that and all the what ifs, and rather than living in the moment a bit. And what is it? We've got 2 home and away games to go. Let's just enjoy the ride a bit with him and sit back and see what he can do. And hopefully it goes for a few weeks beyond that. But let's see. Let's just enjoy it.
It feels sloppy from the Franklin camp, from his management. I think if Sydney had a wish, they would probably wish that Liam Pickering was still managing Lance Franklin. And I think that it indicates to me that he is genuinely anxious about whether he plays on or not. I don't think this is about money. I don't think they'd agreed on the money, but I think, say it was $500,000, I think they could have come to terms on that. And I just am so believing of Brisbane that they haven't, they just insist it's not right. Clearly they would love to have Lance Franklin play for them, but I think he's genuinely anxious about whether he plays on or not, and it's stressing him out. But it's so unusual to have, as you say, the 2 biggest names in the game at this, it's sort of at vague crossroads with their clubs.
Do you agree with that it's not about money? Like, because to me he looks hungry still. He still wants it every week and engaged. So anxious about what? About
what he does next year, about where he's going to live. I mean, he was always going to live in Sydney. Now they're going to live on the Gold Coast, we hear, or somewhere in Queensland. I don't think it is about money.
I think it's a factor. It's always when's it never been a factor? He's trying to drum up an offer to consider, and retiring is one of the options. Yeah. But he's wanting to find a better alternative offer than one he's been presented.
I'd be disappointed
he's been actively
if that was it, given what he's earned, what's happened with him in that club. I'd be surprised.
There's been actively marketing him in the real estate pages in Sydney and Brisbane, in the sports pages. He's been inviting off it. The irony of that contract not being long enough for Sydney, if only they'd put the 10th or 11th year on it, they'd have been fine. He's not lost.
I think you're right, though. They kept the biggest, most high-profile contract ever so secret that no one knew about it, and then all of a sudden this has been played out through the media.
And it's it's
been handled poorly.
I think it looks sloppy. And then you've got Dustin Martin at Richmond, who has disengaged to a degree with the club this year, still not back in the side. Don't think he'll be back in this week. I think there's hope that round 23 he'll be back. Richmond is starting to just talk a little bit more tough about Dustin Martin. They love him, they want him to stay, and they say he's got a 2-year contract. They think he's got 3 or 4 years left for his career, not 2 years, and it would have to be a bloody good offer for them to even consider talking about letting him go.
They'd want to have him engaged, though. I mean, that's a warning sign. That's
clearly,
a red flag.
that is a big worry, and for everything that he's done for that club, they have been very good for Dustin Martin too, and I just hope he remembers that.
If you're another suitor, Hutchie, you'd want to. I reckon it's a massive. I reckon it's Richmond or nowhere for Dusty. I think the fire in the belly, if it's not there, you don't take on a player at that money to a new club.
It's a problem that the money, in this case, seems to be the main reason that he's going to keep playing, and no one's going to walk away from 1.2, whatever it is, a year. $1.3 million a year, say. No one's going to do that.
And trying to get him to thin that out for them would be the next move.
So you're saying the only reason he's playing is for money?
No. If that's what is going to keep him, then that's a bit of a worry. I thought in the West Coast game he looked, started to show signs of the Dustin of old, but then of course I
think he'll be back big time in the finals.